The husband, Jake, always fancied himself the smart one in our marriage. From the moment we tied the knot 5 years ago in that little registry office in Brisbane, he'd been the bloke who talked big but delivered small. I'm Sarah, a registered nurse pulling 12-hour shifts at the Royal Brisbane Women's Hospital, coming home with sore feet, the smell of antiseptic clinging to my scrubs, and a decent paycheck that kept our mortgage ticking over and the fridge stocked. Jake. He worked in sales, which mostly meant sporadic commissions, long lunches, and a talent for stretching every dollar I earned further than it should go. At first it was little things, him borrowing $20 here for petrol, $50 there for a round with the boys. I let it slide because love makes you blind, or maybe just stupid. But about 8 months back, things shifted. He started vanishing more often. Friday nights turned into catching up with mates, Saturday arvos became quick 9 holes that stretched till midnight. The bank app on my phone started showing weird patterns. Small withdrawals from ATMs in Fortitude Valley when he swore he was at home watching the footy, bigger ones at the tab when he claimed he'd given it up. I confronted him once, gently. Just checking in, love, everything alright? He flashed that charming grin, the one that used to melt me, and said, no worries, babe, just sorting some cash flow. I wanted to believe him. God, I really did. Then the card stopped working properly. I was at Coles one afternoon, basket full of mince, veggies, and his favorite 4X gold, when my debit card got declined at the self-serve. Embarrassing as hell, the machine beeped like it was judging me. I tried again, declined, switched to the joint credit card. Same thing, heart thumping. I paid with the emergency $50 in my purse and drove home wondering what fresh mess we were in. That night, while Jake was snoring on the couch after too many stubbies, I logged into the banking app on my laptop. The statements told the story clear as day. Our joint accounts had 2 debit cards linked. Somehow, and I still don't know exactly how he pulled it off without me noticing the post, he'd requested replacements and swapped the physical cards. The one in my wallet now had his name on it, tied to the low-limit everyday account that barely covered bills. His wallet held the shiny black one with my name, the one linked to the main transaction account where my fortnightly nursing pay landed like clockwork. He'd even updated the online banking nicknames so the app showed Jake's Everyday on my card and Sarah's Main on his. Sneaky bastard. He must have figured if he kept the paper statements coming to his P.O. box, the one he used for work stuff, and deleted the email alerts on my phone, I'd never cotton on. But nurses are trained to notice details. We spot the tiniest changes in vitals, the subtlest signs of distress. And I'd spotted his. I didn't scream, didn't throw his clothes on the lawn. I just sat there in the dark kitchen, cup of tea going cold, and felt something harden inside me. This wasn't just about money anymore, it was about respect, about him treating me like an ATM with legs. I could have confronted him right then, had the big blow up, watched him lie and gaslight and promise to change. But I knew his type. He'd cry, say he was stressed, blame the job market, then do it all again in 6 months. Nah, I wanted him to feel it. Properly, publicly, the way only family outrage can burn. So I kept my mouth shut and started playing the long game. Next pay cycle, I quietly transferred most of my wage into a brand new solo account at a different bank, one he'd never even heard of. I left just enough in the joint one to cover the direct debits so nothing bounced and raised alarms. Then I waited, watched. Every time he asked for cash, just $50 for the tab, love, got a hot tip on the trots, I'd smile sweetly and hand it over from the joint account. No dramas, Jakey. He'd kiss my cheek, call me a legend, and head out to blow it on whatever vice took his fancy that night. Meanwhile, I was tracking every transaction on the Sarah's Main card he carried. Pokies at the Treasury, rounds at the Normandy, a $180 tab at a dodgy bar in the valley that reeked of cheap cologne and bad decisions. Even a flower delivery to an address I didn't recognize, not our place. I screenshot everything, saved PDFs of statements, noted dates and times. Evidence piled up like a patience chart, clear and damning. I wasn't angry anymore. I was calm, methodical, a Sheila with a plan. Jake had no idea the trap was closing. He strutted around like he was untouchable, king of the castle, while I quietly built the case that would bring him crashing down. And the perfect moment was coming, his best mate's big backyard barbie, the one the whole clan always turned up for. Parents, aunties, uncles, cousins, the lot. A proper family affair. He'd want to play the big shot there, shout the barbie, buy the slab, flash the cash. I'd make sure everyone saw exactly whose cash it really was. And when the card declined in front of them all. When the truth spilled out like cheap beer from a knocked-over stubby. He'd be cooked. Absolutely, irreversibly cooked. I started acting normal, even extra nice. The shift happened overnight, but Jake never clocked it. One minute I was the tired nurse giving him the side-eye when he stumbled in at 2 a.m. reeking of bourbon and regret. The next, I was smiling like nothing was wrong. "Want brekkie, love? I'll whip up some avo toast," I'd say as he groaned on the couch, nursing a hangover. He'd blink up at me, surprised, then grin like he'd won the lotto. "You're a bloody legend, sir." "Yeah, legend. That's me." Inside, though, I was ice. Cold, calculated, patient. I knew yelling would just make him defensive, turn it into another round of "you don't trust me" and "I'm stressed from work." Nah, I wanted him to dig his own hole so deep he couldn't see daylight. So I played the perfect wife while quietly dismantling his little scam. First thing Monday after I discovered the card swap, I rang my bank from the staff tea room during a quick break. Heart hammering, voice steady. "I'd like to open a new transaction account, please. Solo. No joint access." The consultant was lovely, walked me through it all. New BSB, new account number, online banking set up on my phone with two-factor that only went to my number. I transferred 80% of the next pay straight across the moment it landed, left just enough in the joint one to cover the mortgage auto debit, power bill, and Netflix so nothing bounced and tipped him off. The rest, safe, untouchable, mine. From then on, every fortnight when the pay hit, I'd sit in the car after a night shift, engine off, streetlights buzzing overhead, and watch the numbers move. Joint account, topped up just enough. New account, swelling nicely. I even set up a little high-interest saver attached to it, watching the interest tick over like tiny victories. Jake had no clue. He still thought he was spending our money, my money, while I was building a safety net he couldn't touch. He kept asking, casual like, "Hey babe, got 50 for the tab. Got a sure thing in the 5th at Doomben." I'd hand over the cash from the joint account, smile sweetly. "No worries, Jakey. Go get M." He'd peck my cheek, grab his keys, and vanish into the night. I'd watch the taillights disappear, then open the banking app. Ping. There it went, $40 at the tab, another 20 at the drive-through bottle for a 6-pack. Later, the big ones rolled in, $120 at the Treasury Hotel Pokies, $85 round at the Elephant and Castle for his footy mates. A $220 dinner tab at some flash place in New Farm, receipt showed 2 entrees, 2 mains, bottle of red. Not our usual Macca's run. I started screenshotting everything. Date, time, merchant, amount. I saved them in a locked folder on my phone labeled, work rosters, just in case he ever snooped. Patterns emerged quick. Friday nights, Valley bars, tabs climbing past $150. Saturdays, golf with the boys that mysteriously ended at the casino sports bar. Sundays, quiet ones, but then a sneaky $90 flower delivery to a unit in Paddington. Not our address, not his mum's. I noted the date, googled the florist. Thinking of you, bouquet. Cute, real bloody cute. Then came the late night stuff. 1:37 a.m. $28 at a kebab shop in Fortitude Valley, 2:04 a.m. $45 Uber to an address in West End. Next morning he'd roll in, claim he crashed at Mitch's after too many. Mitch lives in Indooroopilly, different direction entirely. I didn't say a word. Just added it to the folder. The evidence was stacking up like patient notes, objective, time-stamped, undeniable. I even tested him once. "Hey, card's acting up at Coles again. Can you grab the groceries on your way home?" Handed him his card, the one with my name and the fat balance. He took it without blinking. Came home with the bags, proud as punch. Sorted it, babe, no dramas. That night, the app showed $187 at Woolies, then $65 at Dan Murphy's. He thought he was being clever. I knew he was just greedy. All the while I kept up the act. Cooked his favorite spag bowl. Laughed at his dumb jokes. Let him think he still had me wrapped around his finger. But every time he swaggered out the door, wallet fat with my pay, I felt the plan tightening like a tourniquet. He was racking up the tabs on what he thought was his playground. Pokies draining hundreds. Mates shouting, Jake's shout. While he swiped away, secret nights that left lipstick on collars he swore were just sauce. I wasn't hurt anymore. Not really. The sting had dulled into something sharper, resolve. I pictured the Barbie coming up in 3 weeks, his best mate's place at Redcliffe, backyard full of family. His parents driving down from the sunny coast. His sister flying in from Sydney with the kids. Cousins, aunties, uncles, the whole loud, nosy clan. Jake would want to play the big man. Shout the meat, buy the slabs, flash the card like a trophy. And when it declined, when I casually pulled out my phone and started reading the trail aloud, every eye would turn, every voice would rise. I kept building the case, patient as a hunter waiting for the roo to step into the clearing. Screenshots, dates, amounts, addresses, the flowers, the kebabs, the Ubers to nowhere near his mates' places. It was all there, neat and damning. Jake had no idea how close he was to the edge. He still kissed me goodnight, still called me his rock. And I let him, because rocks don't move until they crush what's underneath. He'd learn soon enough. Fair dinkum, he'd learn. The big night came at his mate Mitch's place in Redcliffe, the kind of sprawling Queenslander backyard that screams proper Aussie barbie. Fairy lights strung between the poincianas, eskies groaning under slabs of 4X and Great Northern, kids running around with sparklers while the adults claimed the good chairs near the fire pit. The air smelled of sizzling snags, onion, and eucalyptus smoke. Everyone was there, the full clan. Jake's mum and dad had driven down from the Sunshine Coast, his sister Lisa flown in from Sydney with her 2 little tackers, cousins from Ipswich, aunties with Tupperware full of pavlova and lamingtons. It was the annual, end of footy season, piss up, the one Jake always used to strut around like he owned the joint. I'd spent the afternoon helping set up, carrying platters, laughing with the aunties, keeping my face neutral while Jake played the perfect host. He'd been buzzing all week, talking up how he was gonna sort the meat tray and shout the next round of coldies. I just nodded, smiled, said, "Sounds beaut, love." He had no idea I'd left the joint account sitting on maybe $40 after paying the last few bills. The rest of my pay, safe in the new solo account. His card, the one with my name and the decent limit, was in his wallet, already carrying the weight of weeks of his secret spending. The arvo rolled on easy. Blokes around the barbie arguing over who cooked the best sausages, footy replays on the big outdoor telly, women chatting about school holidays and house prices. Jake was in his element, backslapping mates, cracking tinnies, telling the same old stories about the time he almost made the reserves. Everyone laughing, beers flowing. Then came the moment he'd been waiting for. Mitch yelled out, "Oi, Jakey. Slabs running low, mate. Your shout." Jake grinned wide, chest puffed. "No worries, boys. I got this." He swaggered over to the esky, pulled out his card, the black one, and headed to the little outdoor bar setup where Mitch's missus was taking orders for the next round. I stayed back near the fire pit, sipping a lemon squash, watching like it was slow motion. He swiped. Beep. Declined. Jake frowned, swiped again. Beep beep. Declined. A couple of the boys chuckled. "Machine playing up, mate?" Mitch asked. Jake laughed it off, tried a third time. Same result. His face started flushing, red creeping up his neck like he'd been out in the sun too long. "Bloody hell, must be the signal," he muttered, pulling out his phone to check the banking app. That's when his mum, sitting nearby with a plate of potato salad, piped up. "Hang on a sec, love. I saw the receipt from last week's Chinese takeaway on the fridge. Card number started with the same digits as Sarah's. Why's it got her name on it, not yours?" The backyard noise dipped. Heads turned. Jake froze, phone halfway to his face. I stepped forward, calm as anything, pulled my own phone out. "Actually, Mum," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "it's because Jake swapped our cards a few months back. Gave me his low-limit one and kept mine, the one my nursing pay goes into." I opened the screenshots folder, started reading aloud like I was calling bingo numbers. Friday the 11th of October, $142 at Treasury Hotel Pokies. Saturday, 19th, $210 round at the Normanby for the boys. Wednesday, 23rd, $180 tab at that bar in the valley, looks like 2 entrees, 2 mains, bottle of Shiraz. Not sure who the second person was. I paused, let it sink in. Oh, and Sunday the 27th, $90 flower delivery to a unit in Paddington. Thinking of you, bouquet. Sweet touch. Silence. Thick, heavy silence. Then his dad's voice, low and hard. "You bloody what?" Jake stammered, "Nah, Dad, it's not." There's an explanation, but the boys were already turning. Mitch snorted, "Mate, you've been shouting on Sarah's coin while she's doing night shift saving lives." One cousin laughed outright. "Dead set grub move, Jakey." His sister Lisa stood up, toddler on her hip. Sarah, you're a bloody legend for putting up with this. How long's this been going on? I shrugged. Long enough to build quite the file. I kept scrolling. Last weekend, $45 Uber to West End at 2 a.m., then $28 kebab run. Told me you crashed at Mitch's place. Mitch lives in Indooroopilly, right? Mitch raised his hands. Don't drag me into this, mate. I was home with the missus. Jake's face was beetroot now. He tried to laugh it off. Come on, it's just a mix-up, I'll sort it, but his mum blocked the side gate when he went to bolt. Sit your ass down, Jacob. You don't walk away from this. His dad stared him down. Using your wife's money to play big shot, while she's paying the bloody mortgage. You ought to be ashamed. The outrage rippled. Aunties tutting, cousins shaking heads, kids asking what was wrong. One uncle muttered, "That's low, even for you, Jake." Lisa handed her kid to her husband and stepped closer. Sarah deserves better than a bloke who treats her like an ATM. Sort yourself out or piss off. Jake stood there, card still in his hand, surrounded by family who'd suddenly turned into a jury. No one was laughing anymore. Just disappointment, thick and sharp. He tried one last, "It's not what it looks like," but it died in his throat. I didn't yell, didn't need to. The truth did the work. He was cooked, properly, publicly humiliated in front of every person whose opinion ever mattered to him. And I just stood there, phone in hand, finally feeling the weight lift. Now he's sleeping on the couch, and the house feels different, quieter, colder, but somehow lighter. That first night after the Barbie, Jake didn't even try to come to bed. He just grabbed a spare doona from the linen cupboard, muttered something about needing space to think, and set himself up in the lounge room like a kid sent to timeout. I didn't argue, didn't offer the spare room either. Let him feel the scratchy fabric, the way the streetlight cuts through the blinds at 3 a.m., the silence when there's no one to turn to. He earned every uncomfortable hour. The next morning he woke up puffy-eyed and sheepish, hovering in the kitchen doorway while I made coffee. "Sir, can we talk?" Voice small, no trace of the cocky bloke from the night before. I poured my mug, took a slow sip, then looked at him over the rim. "Sure, talk." He started with the apologies, classic Jake script. "I stuffed up, babe. Big time. I was stressed, the commissions dried up, I didn't want you worrying." I let him ramble. Watched him pace, hands in his pockets, eyes darting anywhere but my face. When he finally wound down to, "I'll make it right, I swear," I set my mug down. "Make what right, Jake?" "The money you blew. The nights you weren't where you said you were. The flowers that went somewhere else." I pulled out my phone again, same folder I'd used at the Barbie. "I've got it all here. Every swipe, every Uber, every kebab wrapper you left in the car. You think sorry fixes that?" He flinched like I'd slapped him. Then came the tears, real ones this time, not the crocodile kind he used to pull when caught nicking from the joint account. "I love you, sir. I don't want to lose you." I didn't soften. "Not yet. You already lost the right to say that when you decided my pay was your playground." I told him the new rules, calm and clear. Separate finances from now on. He pays half the mortgage, half the bills, properly, from his own account. No more access to mine. No more quick 20s for the tab. And counseling. Real sessions, not just promises. He nodded like his head was on a spring. "Anything, babe, I'll do it." The family didn't let it drop easy either. His mum rang the next day, twice. First call was to me. "You alright, love?" We're all still fuming. "That boy's got some making up to do." Second call was to him. I heard the raised voices through the wall. "You humiliated yourself, Jacob, but worse, you humiliated Sarah in front of everyone who loves you both. Sort your head out or don't bother coming home for Christmas." His dad texted him one line, "Man up or move out." Lisa sent a voice note, "You're lucky she's even letting you stay on the couch, Yanong. Don't stuff this up more." His mates. Mixed bag. Mitch texted him, "Mate, that was low. Fix it or we're done shouting rounds with you." A couple of the footy boys unfollowed him on Insta, petty, but it stung. The ones who'd happily drunk on his tab suddenly went quiet. Turns out free beers taste different when you know they came from someone else's hard work. Jake started changing, slowly. Got himself a proper part-time gig stacking shelves at Bunnings, steady pay, no commissions to chase. Handed over his first payslip without me asking. Started therapy online, Tuesday nights at 7.30. He'd come out looking wrung out, but he went back every week. Stopped asking for cash. Started doing the dishes without being nagged. Small things, but they added up. Me, I kept my new account locked down tight. Built it up further, emergency fund, a little holiday savings for when I'm ready to take the kids, if we ever have any, to the Gold Coast. I went back to night shifts with my head clearer. The girls at work noticed the difference. You're glowing, Sar. What's the secret? I just smiled. Got my priorities sorted. It's been 3 months now. He's still on the couch most nights, says he doesn't deserve the bed till he's earned it back. We talk more, proper talks, not just surface stuff. He's owning the damage, bit by bit. Some days I still feel the anger flare when I remember the flowers, the late nights, the lies. But other days I see him trying, really trying, and I let a little forgiveness in. The family's thawing too. His mum invited us both for Sunday roast last week. Sat us at opposite ends of the table, mind you, but it was a start. Lisa hugged me when she left. You did good, sis. Made him face the music. Even his dad gave him a nod when he handed over the first mortgage payment on time. Jake's not fixed, not by a long shot. But he's learning the hardest lesson of all: you don't mess with a Sheila who knows how to wait for the perfect moment. My plan worked a treat. He opped himself right in front of everyone who mattered, and now he's rebuilding from the ashes. Whether he gets back into the bedroom, back into my trust, that's up to him. Me, I'm good, better than good. I've got my money, my peace, and a couch potato husband who finally understands what sorry really costs. Fair dinkum, sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting free.